Hello and welcome to We Quilt Studio. I'm here in Embird Studio. I'm actually in the 2019 version, but you can also do this in the 2022 version. I have that on my other laptop. I just saw a video from another digitizing company where they cut up a circle and made some novel shape. And we've been able to do that with Embird for years, like as long as I can remember. But I think a lot of people don't know the few little tricks. So I'm going to try to keep this really quick and show you a really cool feature that Embird has that you may not know. So I'll just start with a circle. So I'll hit the fill tool here. I'll click once. I'll hit shape, ellipse 16 elements. Click anywhere, hold control and drag. And I want to make it kind of big and hit enter twice. And I'll zoom out with my minus button. I'll hit transfer, bring to center. I'll zoom in a little. Maybe I'll make it like 3.75. And I'll hit apply. When you use this window, it stays in the center. So, or I could have just dragged the corner, of course, and then did transform, bring to center again. Now we're going to copy and paste it. Control C, Control V. We'll make this one a different color, say green. We're going to shrink this one down to any size that you like. I'll grab the corner and I'll just shrink it this way. Whoops, my pen kind of messed up. But that looks good. Transform, bring to center. And now I'm going to make an outline and I'm going to snap it to the grid. I already have snap to grid chosen, but just a warning, if your grid is not showing and you click snap to grid, this program will lock up. So make sure your grid is showing. If you have to zoom in to see it, sometimes you have to zoom in if your grid is small. But if your grid is not showing, you do have to go to edit, preferences, grid, and choose something other than what's already on there, like say, 2 mils, and hit apply. And if you notice, 2 mils is very small, so my grid's not showing, but if I zoom in, it shows. So that's just a warning there on the grid. So here we are, and I'm going to actually go back. I just like to see the grid. I'll make it 10 mils again. Am I in inches though? I am in inches. I probably should make it in inches. Okay. So I made my circle. I copied and pasted it, made another circle, and then made it smaller. Both are in the center. Now I'm going to grab the outline tool. Snap to grid is on. I'll click once, snap to grid, and then I'll click just anywhere. And I could make an interesting S-curve by adding a node up here and possibly going, like that. I could make it like that. I guess I'll just do that. And I'll hit enter. And to separate this, before I separate it, I want to make it interesting. So I'm going to hit edit again. And I want to create this exact shape right down here. So that's what these are for. So you can see though that it's ending up here. So if I hit, say, this one, it goes way up there. So I'll Control Z, I'll reverse my nodes order. Now I'll hit it, and now it came down there. And I may or may not like that shape. Let me Control Z. Let me see what this one gives me. I'm not interested in that shape. That one is kind of cool. So, but I actually had one that was really neat just a minute ago. So I'm not sure what it exactly looked like. Let me try that. I know what I did. The last time I did this, I didn't have, it wasn't an S curve, it was just a curve, which is really interesting. So it was just like that. And those are real easy to make. And so now when I click duplicate vertically, I get that shape. It's kind of cute. So that's good. So I'll hit the check mark, and it's an outline. And with an outline, you can't cut a fill. You can cut a fill with, with straight lines, and you could turn the line to be, or straight guidelines, and you can rotate the guideline and so on. But you can't cut this fill shape, this fill circle, with this outline. So we have to turn the outline into either a fill or a column. And a lot of people don't realize that you could just turn it into a column and it kind of acts like a fill. I'm talking regular column. So with this selected, you'll go to Convert, Create Column from Outline. And I'm just going to make it as small as you can make it. If I click here, 0.1 mil, that's fine. You can make it thicker if you want a gap there or what have you. So now it's a column. So now this original outline, I'm just going to make yellow, and I'm going to hide it. So now we have this column and this circle in the middle that's a fill. If I hold Control and select the column again, I can go to Transform, Shaping, Union, because this column is just going to turn into a fill along with this fill, and they'll become one. Union. And so now here's our new shape down here. And I'll make it like bright green, or maybe I'll make it pink. So that's our new shape. And that shape actually can cut the circle now. So with the shape selected, I'll go to the big circle. And let me just show you before I do that. Here's this shape. There it is. It's a column, which is really acting like a fill now. If I hit Edit, there's two nodes there. It's a fill. It goes up and then comes back. So it's a fill. And if I hide the circle inside, and, oh wait, I didn't cut it yet, so never mind on that. But we will hide it because we don't need it now. We have this pink fill. And so if I click on the fill, it looks like it has a hole right there. So I'm just going to click on the hole, right click, and delete it. So now it's solid in there. So anyways, let me, well, actually, sorry, I made a mistake. I wanted to Control Z to get it back to where it was in the center. Now I'll click on it and then right click, delete the whole. Now I'll click on the pink little shape and then hold control and click on the large orange circle, and now I'll go to transform shaping difference, and you get our two shapes. So if I hide the pink, I'll hide the green, I'll even hide the original circle, and I'll hide that. I'll hide everything except what we created here. So we have this shape and this shape. And if I hold control and move this away, you can see what we created. It's kind of cool. So you can create any shapes you want. And this actually, if I rotate it, it looks like a fox. Reminds me of a fox, those pictures of a fox. It's kind of cute. But if you wanted, you could have made, let's delete that. Let's bring this shape back and this. And here's our original column. We could have made the original column, change column width. Now it's just going by percentage, but let's just say I made it 125% of what it is as far as width. That wasn't enough. Now I have to go, I'll just do one, I'll just go up to 200. Okay, so now it's thicker. Let me make it even thicker. Okay. So now, when I bring this back, this little circle, and I hold control and hit the column, and I do transform shaping union, let me hide everything else. So now I have this shape. So now when I take this shape and click on the orange large circle and do transform shaping difference. Oh, I forgot about that little hole. I'm just going to delete it. If I hide everything else except what we created, you can see there's a gap there. And when I originally made the column, I could have made that gap really big. But, you know, it's up to you how big you want to make it. So I could go back, if I wanted that gap even bigger, I'll start with the outline, and when I do convert, create column from outline, now I can make it, you know, a lot bigger, 3 mils, a lot thicker. So now, when I select the column and bring back the circle, if I select the little circle and the column, or you don't have to select the circle. Maybe you just wanted the column and the larger circle, and you wanted to find the difference there. Transform, shaping, difference. So now if I hide everything, now you have that. And that's kind of cool. And you can give it a motif fill of some sort. Something like that. 100, if you want it to be square, then you take the 10, take one of the zeros off, 10 divided by 2, so this width should be 5. 5. And, you know, you could change the colors. and you could create an outline from those. And then you can go into your parameters. And I thought I downloaded my user editor custom ESMs. So you'd click here and the parameters drop down user editors. Mine are in different folders so I don't lose them when there's an update. And I think I liked this one. And I might have liked bike chain. And these are all for sale on my website. Flames. I'll just try flames. And I'll hit OK. So there's the 3 of them. Now they'll be up here. Let me hit OK so I can go into 3D. So that's the back stitch. It's real pretty. Back stitch hat thick. Bike chain's a little thick. Flames might need to be made a little narrower on the width. I have other ones that are already set. That's a 1/4 inch. I mean, any of them are fine. Let's look at the density map. Looks great. I mean, it's a little orange in through here, but I mean, this is the actual design. The motif is thick like that. So you can always try and find one that's not as dense. I thought I chose the one that wasn't as dense. That's not too bad. It's not a lot of orange. And of course, you know, I have other motifs that are custom. That one's really loose. On the motifs, open. I do like my curls. I really do like oops, that was Frost 17. Forgot to change it. That's probably not a good choice. I liked the Frost 17. We'll go with that. I'd have to change the width here to a 5, but I do like this one at 100. Oh, that looks good too. See how it's 16 and then it's 8. 8 is half of 16. That's what makes it more square. So that's pretty. So the key here is to just take your outline, and here's your outline here. The key is to take the outline. Let me just group these and hide them. And you want to just convert your outline to a column. And then that column can interact with anything, any fill, I should say. You know, as far as the transform shaping goes, you have to have 2 selected. So Oops, it's hidden, so it's not selecting it. There it goes. Let's hide the outline. So there they are selected. And so again, I can union them, shaping, union, and now they're union. These still stay, but you can delete them if you want. It's good to keep them, and then that's what you have. So if I did it that way, I have the larger circle selected and my new shape, and go to transform, shaping, difference, and now it's completely different from even from before. So let's go into, I'll just put that motif on. Okay. And I'll do, let's say, pink and red, and hide everything else. Select them, convert, create outline from fill, parameters. They're still here. I think I used the other one, but I'll use this one by Backstitch Hat. I do like this one a lot. And so now it's a completely different design. And remember, if you wanted, let's go ahead and bring everything back. I'll just delete everything. When you started with this outline, you can edit it and just delete, and then like I was doing before, you can add a note and make an S curve. So this has to be on the straightaway, and then there's your curves. And you can make these S curves seamlessly with no no mistake or no bump here. You can do that in Inkscape and then just bring it into here, but that looks good. And so what you can do is, if you go back to vector view and you see that we're still in the center, everything is still centered, so you can get your transformation window and you can say give it 6 revolutions. To click apply to duplicate only 5 times. 1, 2, whoops, notice it's not, this focal point has to be in the center. Control Z. Let me delete these. Okay, I'll click on it again. This has to be move focus point to center of hoop. So now it's in the center. Now apply to duplicate 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll just close that. And I'm just going to make this a little darker because I can't see it. Okay, so there you have it. So now all of these outlines, you want to convert them to a column. So convert, create column from outline. I guess, I don't know. We'll make it 3 mils. Check. And now we don't need these, but I'm just going to group them. And I'm going to make these a different color. And then I'll group these with the little circle in the middle. I'll hold Control. And now I'll go to Transform, Shaping, Union. So now we have our new shape down here. And I'll just group these, and I'm going to make these yellow as well, just to let me know that I don't really need them for right now. Now this shape in our original circle up here, I'll hold Control and do Transform Shaping Difference. And so now each one is a different shape. I'll hide everything else. And there you go. And so each one is a different shape, so you can make them different colors, but you can also select them all and do Convert, Create Outline. So now our outline, it could be a different color if you wanted, maybe a lighter green, and then I'll just go to Parameters, and it should still be there. That was the one I liked. With it this wide, I could use Flames Big just to see what it looks like. We'll go into 3D. You don't see the separation with Flames Big. Let's also go to Motif 17, apply. And not sure if I like these colors. But the Flames Big is kind of not doing it for me on this one. So I'll go back to Back Hat Thick, and that looks better. So I'll group these. And then, of course, we have to set all of our connections and so on as far as making this seamless. Now, for these outlines here, I could probably, let's see, they're each separate. So if I wanted to, you know, connect these, say right here, I could do a branching probably, or I might just have a connection there. If I click over all of them except the first one, right click, create connection. Do I want to do all that work? I might. I could hit the first one and hit edit and see where it's starting. Yeah, see, it's starting way over here. You could see this. So let's go ahead and Control Z on the connections just so they're not in my way. And I would hit edit and then zoom in. Let's do a favor here. Let's objects, erase stitches. Okay. Looks like I moved something. There we go. Okay. Objects, erase stitches. So if I started here, place start point here, it's also going to end here. Which way am I going? So I'm going that way. So I'll start it here and end there. And then this one, I'll start here. So it'll end there as well. So I'll just change them all. Okay, so that one's in the wrong spot. So that should be at the end. This one. So right click, hold, insert after. So that one's in the wrong. Okay, so this one has to be moved up. Right click, hold, insert before, edit. See, since I'm going in this direction, I want my start point to be way over here to the right. That's why I'm changing all of these, because my connections then will travel along here, and then they'll be covered up so you won't see them. So each one of these are going to be starting here. I mean, please start point here. I could have just did branching, but then Branching puts more travel stitches in, and you could do that. It's fine. But if you didn't want it bulky, and maybe you wanted it to look more like quilting or what have you. So, okay. So now when I select all of them except the first one and right click, create connection, you can see my connections are all there, which is fine. I just have to snap to object edges here and snap this on. So each one, each connection. So it's just snapping. Okay. So now those will stitch seamlessly. Here's the thing. I could have put a fill in here instead of it being open like that, but it's okay. Let's just see what these connections look like. Because right now, if I do select subset, meaning I just want to select what from what I have selected. So click select subset, then do select connections, all connections just within that subset, you see. So now if I go to parameters and I want the minimum length to be as big as it can be, we'll try to keep them close together, and I'll hit apply. So now the connections don't look so bad. So now when I select everything, because remember this is my back stitch hat thick, and I hit generate, it looks pretty good. You know, we still have our gap on the outside, but on the inside we have the connections. Now this last one up here doesn't have a connection. And so if you want to make that look good, what you do, you could just put in an outline and just connect them up. Or you could take, let me zoom out. You could take this last one and make a copy of the first one and put it after it for right now. Control C, Control V, it goes right down to the bottom. Make it yellow. Well, you can't make it yellow yet. But if we right click, create connection, now you'll see, you know, it makes this long connection, but we can right away click on it and say convert connection to outline and then edit it. Before I edit it, let me object erase stitches. Before I edit it, let me delete this. It's an outline, so I don't need this copy anymore. I'll go ahead now, and since it's an outline, and I'll snap to node now, not to object edge. Snap to node, and it'll snap right there. And then I can just kind of wing that if I want. And then that'll have the same parameters as the other connection stitches. So then that's how you take care of that. And you know, this one, it's connecting over here, so you might want to fix that in editor, you know, the way that that came in. So that's if you don't want any ties on your outline. And you know, now you can make your outline like you could make it maybe the same color as the last fill that's stitched. Well, all my fills are the same color, but you can of course change the colors of the fills. I always have problems with color. So we'll right click and group. You know, it's just hard to decide. I think, design load color palette. I don't think that's my favorite palette that's showing. So I do kind of like these colors. But now if you didn't want this to be, you know, a connection, you wanted it to look just like the other, you know, the backstitch hat, then we could have just did, let me right click and ungroup, could have selected all of those, convert connection to outline, and then while they're still selected, actually they're all outlines, so we'd have to click on one and hold control and select them all, and then right click on the backstitch hat, let go, set identical parameters, and then generate, and so now they'd all look the same. But you wouldn't want to do that until you're sure that you're done with your connections. I mean, yeah, you can go back and convert each of those, you know, convert uh, outline to connection again, but so then it would look like that. So these I'll just group because I don't need them, and then these I would do a sew sim on. And if I tell it to pause on jump inside object and between object just to see. You can see the jumps up here, the tie, because they're ties. Those are for the fills, for the motifs. Whoops. And now it's stopping because that's the end of this fill. And if they were all the same color, I could make these fills start and end. Let me stop it. I can make all of these fills. Whoops. I'd have to ungroup them. But I'd have to make them start and stop down here. And since I've already got a connection here, I could just use the same pathway. So I would hit edit and, you know, place my start and stop here, which, you know, why would I want to go through all that all over again? I've got the outlines, so I can just, since that's how I'm starting and stopping my outlines, I might as well start and stop that as well. So I would just highlight all of these outlines and say convert, create fill from outline. So now I have all of these fills. No, wait a minute. Oh, it's giving me those. Let me control Z. Because I did convert from fill to, or from connection to fill. So let me hold control and I'll just select every other one. And now convert, create fill from outline. So now these are starting and stopping in the right spots. So I could bring them up, insert before, and I'll make them that color. I'll delete all of these. Before I delete them, let me just right click and hold, set identical parameters. Now I'll delete these, and then these I'll create connection. I could actually just select every one of these if I wanted, but that would be too much of a pain. So I'll just right click, create connection, and then I'll just edit each of those, which is fine. Snap to object edge. Okay. So this will sew, and then, like I said, if I made them all the same color, I could have had this one, this outline start right away after the fill. But let's just see. Sometimes I don't like to do that. I like to have them different colors. So let's generate. We'll group it. We'll group these. You could see there's no ties or anything. So each of these will stitch seamlessly, even this one. If you look down here in the parts window, since it's grouped, there's no scissors, just at the very beginning, of course. So then that would be it. So now if I highlight or select both of those and go to Sew Sim, and it's still stopping on jumps, and you can see there's no jumps anywhere until we're done with the fill. So the fill stops here, and now we'll start the outline, and the outline is starting right there. So I technically could have them the same color, because obviously when I made my outline, I made it off the fill. So, I mean, I'm sorry, I made the fill off the outline, so the fill is starting and ending where the outline was starting and ending, which is kind of cool. So there you go. The options are just endless. I'm not crazy about that motif after all, to be honest. 100 is pretty good. 105 on the width for this size, because this is 3.7. Oh, that's actually too dense. No, no. Guess I was wrong. So then this should be 10 on the width, 200. Oh, is that pretty? I love that. Oh, looks like I forgot to do one. Um, let's just ungroup it and do it that way. I could have left it in the parts window. Let's undo it and just clicked through. So that's it. And then hit edit. Oh, that's not it. So let's see. Okay, so I am going to ungroup it. And I'll just select something, and then I'll click on this. Okay, so it's not selecting. I'm going to hide and show all of these because I don't know what's going on. It might be on the motif. Okay, so it's that one. Okay. Oh, wow. I don't get that. I don't get that. Because if I hit edit, it starts here and goes there. So I don't know why that's doing that. Yeah, that's weird. So I'll just fix that in editor. I mean, I could go into, you know, I could group it and I could just do convert to editable stitches and then do it that way, but then you have to remember that this is what you're going to use, and then when you get into editor you're going to delete this one, so you make this one yellow. And so now this was the one. That is weird, unless it's because it looks like this one did not start and end where it was. Yeah, it did. I'm not sure. I might have made a mistake. I'm rushing. So let me hit, here it's a straight node here. I mean a straight segment. And since they're manual stitches, you can't get curved and so on and so on. So you just have to insert until you get to that spot. And I'm still snapping, that's okay. But you'll want to maybe just put extra nodes in. Insert. And snap. That should be good enough. Those are stitch points though. Just have to remember that. That was weird. So now if we group those and insert before, now it's gone. That's got a little bit of overlap, but of course you could take your outline, and I believe this was X out parameters, so the width was 8. It's only taking the first one, so I'd have to ungroup it. And now that they're all selected, go into parameters. So you could make it thicker. I wouldn't want to make it too thick. You know, that looks good. But you can play around with it. And there you go. And then let's right click and group. If you didn't want the outline, you could just have it like that. And if you didn't want a motif, or you wanted something like a sketch embroidery, you could, oh, these are manual, so I wouldn't be able to use these for right now then. So I'd have to go back to this one and leave user editors under motif. My sketch ripple mesh simple. I have so many. You know, there's just so many. This ripple is even throughout. So is this one. Let's see. simple means there's less stitch penetrations. Let's just see what those look like. I haven't used them in a long time. So I have it at 80. That looks okay. I probably want to make it tighter. Maybe 40. That looks all right. I can't recall about these, if I wanted to change these or not. I can't recall. It might have been the shift that I wanted to change, but I don't know. It would be this. So at 80, I was at 16. So at 40, maybe I want to be at 8. I don't know. Yeah, that does look better. So that's interesting that this is a little different. You know, it's not 4 divided by 2 is 2. It's 4 times 2 is 8. And you might have some areas, because these are custom, and you can see how tiny the stitches are, and they're very irregular. And you may not like that. And that's where you'd want to go to the ESM hack, the video that I have, so that you could change your stitch lengths. Now you can try and just use, one of Embird's. They're not as curvy. See, they're more sharp. Well, these are kind of curvy. Let's see, that one's at 80. Let's just see what that gives. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. So you could try the fill without the underlay. With the high density. Yeah, that's not enough. I can't remember what I had to use when I was trying it with this. So there's that, and then you can try and give it a wave. So there's a wave, but you can see it's the stitches are longer, but it's not, things aren't together anymore. So I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe you could just try fill number 2 with the wave. Yeah. So I thought my ripples were okay. There's this one. They're not as small, but these here look irregular. So I might have to go in and fix that. So there you go. So if I bring back the outline, you could have something like that. You know, you could make it tighter. Oops, that's only going to go to 3. So let's make it 60. Whoops, 3 here. And then 60 here. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, that's better. I mean, I do feel that these are, you know, they actually keep the shape. I don't know why the fills separated so much like that. Maybe because they're a fill, but this ripple 4 is not bad, but this is where you'd want to take it into Inkscape. So this one, you can see how tiny the stitches are. You know, they're really small. They're not even a mil. So here it is as a motif. It's all grouped. I can ungroup it just so you could see they're all motifs. Convert to editable stitches. So I could just click to editable stitches, and this is as if I were an editor and brought it back in. So now that they're manual stitches, now you just do convert manual to connection, convert connection to outline, and there you go. You did it all in Studio. And so now when I go into parameters again, I can make them all 2.0, apply, okay. And I'll just group those. And this was the original motif. I'll hide it. You know, every one of those are 2 mils. Let's see. Yeah, I have them at 2.